Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Mission 919, devoted to information and narratives of African achievement, well-being, and prosperity. Today, I want to talk about smartphone, mobile phone usage on the African continent. Um, just so that you know, just some basic facts. There are roughly 750 million mobile phones on the African continent at the moment, and about one third, or 250 million of those, are smartphones. Over the past few years, um, the cost of smartphones has declined roughly 35%, and now there are smartphones that are under $120 or even close to $100. Um, in terms of smartphone adoption, the percentage of smartphone adoption in Africa is, like I said, about one third, 34%, and that is expected to double in the next 8 years, from 2017 to 2025. So actually, really, 5.5 years, 6 years from now, that 34% is expected to double, or just about double. And to compare the African continent with the global average, in 2025, the global percentage of smartphones is expected to be 79%, so 67 to 79%, relatively close. And actually, um, in some ways, that's, I would argue, parity, because the African continent has the largest number of rural inhabitants, or another way of saying that, the lowest rate of urbanization, although that rate is increasing. So it's harder to have smartphones in rural areas because of coverage issues, because of generally speaking, lower incomes in rural areas. The other reason why it's essentially parity, at least from one point of view, is the median age in the African continent is maybe 20. Many places it's 17, 18, and 19 years old. And so when you have, a large percentage of the population, which are essentially children, makes sense that fewer of them are going to have access to mobile phones or smartphones, etc. Now, in terms of broadband, in 2020, 50% of residents in Africa will have access to 3G, and that is going to go up to 61% by 2025. 12% will have access to 4G next year, and that's going to double to 23%. And right now there's no, or virtually no, 5G, and that is going to go up to 3% by 2025. Now this is very interesting. The monthly use of data is expected between 2015 and 2020. The monthly use of data is expected to increase from 0.3 gigabytes per month to 4.3 gigabytes per month. So that's a massive increase, obviously, for 12 times, 15, 13 times, something, 14 times. Yeah. So that's very interesting. So anyway, what does all this mean? Well, first of all, it means that communication on the African continent is improving rapidly. Most countries on the continent do not really have a very sophisticated or extensive landline network, and so they're simply bypassing that whole process in many ways. And so this means that in terms of being able to stay in touch with family and friends, obviously, that improves standard of living, quality of life, I would argue. But also means that, businesses can expand because you can open a business in another part of the country and be able to be in easy and efficient communication. Um, it means that markets can develop because the information about availability and prices is easy to obtain, and works synergistically, obviously, with improved transportation. So it basically is part of the infrastructure that will allow um, small business, medium business, and large businesses to develop and thrive and grow and so forth. So it's a huge development. It also it um, information, news will spread more easily. Also, Africa is actually one of the, I think, maybe the leading place in the world where money is transferred via mobile phones. Um, so it's really it's changed it's changed lives. It's changed hundreds of millions of lives, and looks promising to continue to do that in the future. I think it also means that for um, people, any people coming to the continent from outside, particularly people of African descent, it means um, who have become accustomed to efficient and universal communication, that visiting or even moving to Africa means not really giving that up. So it eliminates a barrier to tourism and to trade and even to migration to the continent from outside it. Um, so, in the name of the ancestors and the unborn, who are the same, Ashe, 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 and we'll see you soon.